Creativity, creativity in progress. Creativity in progress. Creativity in progress.
Doing just like episode 1 and then us chatting about that and then
Okay.
going from there. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. All right. That works. And it's also shorter too, so it's easier.
Yeah,
Ari, have
yeah.
you saw Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So here's the beauty of it. I believe Giancarlo Esposito, before that, never played a bad guy, is what supposedly the rumor is. He always,
Really?
and often, because even when he was in Do the Right Thing, he was more of an outspoken kind of character. That was more his, because of that. That was more his meat and potatoes were kind of like more prolific speaking roles like that, those kind of characters. Then he did Gustavo Fring, who was a very composed baddie, and pretty much right after that, all he got were those kinds of characters. Like he was in Community as a kind of character. He's in Mandalorian, spoiler alert, as a character that's very similar to that. He's in The Boys season 2, very similar character to that. So he kind of typecast himself. He's even in Far Cry 6, upcoming as a character like that too. So I'm not complaining.
Typecasting.
Yes. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, so we're all set up, ready to roll. Literally, that's one of the few times I've actually said that and meant it. So, right. So we're doing 1d10, right?
I'm afraid we are.
Oh, geez, not 100. Okay.
You can if you want to.
This is for genre. And I'm throwing it 1.
You said 1?
1.
Thank God. Okay, here's a little bit of backstory. 1 is Rom Com. Now, the reason I said thank God is because this whole entire show, the premise and the setup, literally began from what was supposed to be a romantic comedy, us building and talking about a romantic comedy on the air, more or less, and all the tropes and everything from that. And it dovetailed into this madness, which is the show now. And it took us forever, I don't know how many millennia, for us to finally get to that actual genre. So we can finally do a goddamn rom-com. Thank God. It's a Labor Day miracle.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Fantastic.
it is. All right, so we've got rom-com, and then now I'm doing it for setting. 5.
Oh, 1 second here. So 5 is in the location of our last week, but I will swap it out with. That kind of. So here's the fun. I have to. What I will do is I will put. No, I can't do that because I did last time.
Do you want me to roll again? We'll put another one that we've already done.
No, but we can. Yeah, we had to put another one. I'm trying to think of something because I was going to say I'll put that's 5 in our reserves in there, but that was already chosen as 4 as well. What is something we haven't done and I can put in there?
What?
And have you roll again.
Put something else in there we haven't done, and then I'll just roll again. Yeah. So that way, because.
Okay, here's one that we haven't done. So I'll go ahead and put this one in here.
Okay. And then let me know, and I'll throw it again.
Okay.
6.
Perfect. In this big city.
I feel like I'm a bingo caller.
B11. I do feel old.
B11. Anyway.
B11. B11.
She has pom-poms. I can see them.
and what was that? I completely missed it.
It wasn't worth it. I'd rather hear Ari do cheers.
No, I meant the setting.
Ever. That's what I meant to. The setting is bar/tavern. So we literally have a rom-com set in a bar or a tavern. Perfectly cute. Just saying.
Just saying. Okay. All right. And then now this one.
Oh, actually, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was one off. So you said 6, right? 6.
Yes.
It's one. So it's actually big city.
Okay. Well,
that works.
That works too.
Yeah.
That works too.
Yeah. Even better.
Well, I'm beginning to get the feeling that Ethan's just like, oh, what do I want to do this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, random. It's random. Sure it is. Sure.
Random.
Sure.
Oh God. Okay, now this is let's see. Actually, this is one. I'm gonna try
This
this
one
this
is-
week just to see, because this is one of those things where we were doing it where we were rolling 100, like
Well, not just yet. We're doing so right now. We're still.
oh, that's
doing
right,
the,
that's right. Sorry,
yeah.
I jumped ahead.
That's okay. That's okay.
I forgot time.
Time exists.
Oh man, don't we
Ah.
all?
4, which
Perfect. That's
So-
Ari's choice. 4 is Ari's choice.
let's
It
do
is?
that again.
It's past, present, future, or Ari's choice.
Ari's choice.
Oh, you got it. Oh boy, listen. I trying my best here.
Well, I rolled it again and got 2, so that's you
Oh,
know,
that's
we
even
could-
worse because that's present. So we are literally writing a Hallmark Channel movie.
Oh hell
Yeah.
no.
Too late. You signed up for this. You can't go anywhere. We locked your doors. We locked all of your doors.
I will
Oh
fight.
my God.
I will fight.
Oh Jesus.
All right. So what you were saying, Nate, before the rules of our system broke you or stopped you in your place, you wanted to try to rework how we roll.
Yeah.
for
So,
the
well, yeah.
archetypes?
Actually, what I was going to do is before what I would do is I would do 5d20s, where I've realized that this can actually do a d100. So
It can.
yeah, it can.
We should, but yeah, we definitely should be using that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just use that, and then we'll just roll that 3 times. At least I think it will. Let's see. Yep. Yes, it does. Oh, but it only does it on the 10 place. Yeah. No, never mind. Not doing that.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah. The theory is very, very sound, though. Very, very
Yes.
sound.
The theory was sound. The theorist, not so much. Anyway.
Theory's not so much.
Okay, so I'm throwing it again because it gave us 56. Goddamn bell curves. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, another 56. All right.
52.
So, 52. Okay, 52. Let's see where we're at. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Damsel.
Oh, no.
It's actually damsel.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. We can have a male damsel. It'll be fine.
We can have a male damsel, a female damsel. The thing is, the definition of damsel is interesting too. I'm curious to see how we play that out.
So this is actually kind of proving a theory that a lot of
Finally.
people have just made and just said, you know what? I think those executives just throw a dart at the wall or roll some dice to come up. And I think our show is proving that thesis right now.
Yeah.
Our show proves a lot of theses. It proves that dice are rigged, that I have Alzheimer's, and that I have Alzheimer's.
Oh God. All right. Well, let's go again for the next. So this would be 277. No, 177. Sorry. 177.
So 177. Okay.
Yeah, that's the next one.
As the crow flies. Outcast. Perfect. Not the group. It's spelled with a C. Outcast. Okay.
See, I was 5 seconds away from writing a K.
I
and then you
can-
ruined it for me.
I know her so well. We have a hive mind. And again, so all damsel literally means is a young unmarried woman. It doesn't have
Yes.
to be someone in distress, but it could be a young unmarried man.
I know, but
Oh,
the
we
trope is like
In distress.
obviously.
Yes. You
Yeah.
can also go the lesbian route too, having 2 young unmarried women or whatever. But whatever.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. As long as the trope is subverted in some way,
Yeah.
I don't mind. I just the rage is building in me and I'm pushing it down. Pushing it down.
The rage. I love the rage. For those of you who never met Ari before, she has naturally beautiful, vibrant, wavy hair. When she gets mad, though, it literally rises.
Oh, yeah.
above her.
I'm a Studio Ghibli main character.
She was designed by Miyazaki. All right.
Yes.
So you said what's
Right,
that? What's that one there?
The final one is 240. So it's 240. Again, I'm the goddamn bingo caller.
Yeah. Ding! I win. Finally, I can get my Metamucil for the week.
I-27.
So it's Shadow. This is interesting. This actually is a very interesting one. We can actually have a lot of fun with this.
Oh yeah, we could.
Shadow.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it?
Shadow.
Shadow.
Like Alec Baldwin's movie in the 90s, which almost made money.
Wow, that's a deep cut. That's like...
I apologize.
That's... All right. So is that it?
Yeah, I'll do a recap. For genre, we finally got rom-com or romantic comedy for those that are not in the know. Setting is the big city. Time is the present. Archetype number 1 is damsel, which we'll have fun with. Archetype number 2 is outcast with a C, not a K. And archetype number 3 is shadow, starring Alec Baldwin and maybe another actor.
So, I didn't know a movie. Well, I guess there are movie archetypes, but I didn't know a movie could be a character archetype. I am so confused. We're just going goddamn meta on this.
It is Labor Day. You've had at least 5 drinks.
Oh, jeez.
God, I wish I've had 5 drinks.
Me and you both. Wait.
Yeah.
Yes. Did I say that right? Okay.
I don't think so,
you
but
and
it doesn't
me both,
matter.
Me and you both. It's still grammatically sound either way.
Yeah, that just shows you the kind of day. I built a goddamn desk today again, and like I
Hell
am
yeah.
trying. I'm dying over here. So, anyways, I'm sorry. So, so yes, we have a damsel outcast in a movie from the 90s, and
and done. Our job is over. It's a damsel outcast in a movie from the 90s. That's very, very, very specific, and I'm sure there's no other films that qualify for that. we
They're
made
not
our
appearing
own
in this
wheel.
film.
Okay. All right, squad. So
Aye.
the first thought that I had was obviously because Ari brought up the idea of the damsel being reversing the genders or what have you. We can definitely do that. The first thought I actually had though was kind of, it doesn't say damsel in distress, it just says damsel, and having it more or less where the woman is doing something to compete for the guy's affection. But we don't have to do that either. That was the first thought I had.
I could get this genre is sort of full of tropes and stuff that I don't personally like very much.
Yeah.
So as long as we do something to subvert the typical stuff, then I don't really mind.
Okay.
I like your idea, but it does, as long as because women fighting over a man is just, you know.
It is all those retching things. Here's the beauty of it, because we have all of absolute power and godhood, and I have Alzheimer's, we can do it where it's a romantic comedy. However, it could be something like Mortal Kombat meets 10 Reasons Why or something like that. Whatever. What's that called? 10 Things I Hate About You, whatever. So we could have it that it's almost like a tournament, and we don't even know who they're competing for. We don't know that they're competing for a guy or a girl, whatever. We're following a woman, but we don't know, the gender hasn't been said. We don't know all we know is that they're pretty much competing to get someone for whatever reason.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I can get behind that. As long as, there's like both genders are fighting each other.
Yes.
So,
now,
okay. Following that, though, how are we incorporating damsel into this? Are we using the tropey definition, which is is damsel in distress, which I would go for that if the damsel was a woman being paired with a woman or a man.
I was literally going by the definition, like literally a young unmarried woman. That's all. That's literally what the definition is. That's all it is.
Okay.
The distress part is what is the trope. The damsel isn't the trope. So if we had it where it's literally, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I bring it up because when you say damsel, the immediate association is distress, and that's how it's used in literally everything.
Yeah, no one ever
Yeah,
just says, "Hey, that's a damsel over there." Like technically, no offense,
Damn.
you are right. You are a damsel, Ari, because you're a young unmarried woman.
Yeah, I'd
for those
fight
who
you.
don't know, right. She played. Yeah, but the idea is that we could have it that there's that when I said fighting, like Mortal Kombat, I don't mean literally fighting. It's more or less a competition. We can come up with fun, different types of competitions people could have
Right.
against one another, because it's still
I
supposed to be
could
rom
get
com.
interested in that. I'm wondering how you would turn it into a rom com, though.
But part of what here's the best part about it, Ari. We don't actually. There are some rom coms, not many, but some where the outcome that seems the most obvious isn't the one you actually end up with. So we could have it that a young woman, let's just call her Dam, as you said. This is Jean-Claude Van Damme's daughter, and she goes by Dam. So Dam Jr. Enters competition to win the affections of person A, and during the competition, her and person H fall in love with each other, and that's it. They two of them end up together. So
Okay. I can get behind that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So two rivals are
right.
fighting for the affections of, and then they're the ones. Yes. Hello. That's one of my favorite tropes. Let's do it.
Okay. So it still is in line with the tropes as far as you have the meet cute where they don't like each other, or they're literally competing against one another, or something like that. It seems like the story is playing out where they're what they call the super objective and the immediate objective, where the super objective is they want to get to the end line and get the love of their life, what have you. But the immediate objective is that they actually want to find. Well, they got it backwards. The immediate objective is that they want to be validated and find fulfillment in a partner. But the super objective is whatever. They have two different objectives. One is to be validated in their. It's Labor Day. It's Labor Day. They want to be validated in who they are and find a partner. And they believe that by having the status of having this, whoever this big huge person is that they're competing for, they'll get that. However, both of them get validated and find a partner with someone else during the competition, as opposed to the actual end all big prize. That's the idea. That was horrible. I won't ever think again.
You did your best. It's Labor Day. That's the excuse that I'm.
It's Labor Day.
You tried.
I'm using that from now on.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yes.
It's a Monday.
Oh God.
I've got nothing going on.
So what I missed basically all of that conversation.
Wow.
It's a Labor Day.
So
I was fixing things. So
it's a Labor
here's the
Day.
deal.
First of all, hit record, Nate. Hit record, please. Hit record.
We're recording, baby. We're like, there is no way in hell fate wouldn't make this part of what's going out to the people. Is all I'm saying.
Oh God, I love it.
Right.
I love it. So
we have a damsel who it's like a jousting tournament, right? So there are people who are fighting for the affections of this damsel. For whatever reason we come up with in the present day, maybe she's like the heir to a huge corporation, or maybe she's an actual princess, or blah blah blah, something or other, has to get married, or has to enter into a relationship, and the most worthy person is the winner of the tournament, or something like that.
Okay.
And then we've got yes.
Well, I was just gonna say, just to so we could put it in the present day, and maybe not make it as like get married, because that, in the present day, that's a little like not
absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe have it be something like
win a date.
Yeah, go on a date with a celebrity, or something like that, and have the damsel be like somebody who's, in the public eye. Maybe not like I don't want to say like YouTube star or anything like that, but some, maybe some of the
No,
but you get what I mean.
Yes, I do. But I thought it'd be more fun if we had that the damsel was the one competing. They're not trying to rescue the damsel. The damsel is our lead is a young unmarried woman. That's the idea. Our lead is a young unmarried woman, and they're competing for. She she is competing for a date with a celebrity. And again, I think it'd be better if we don't even know who the celebrity is, what their gender is, that kind of stuff. Because part of this idea too is that it's not about the object of her affection is so fleeting and meaningless in lots of regards that giving it a face is almost it's not contradictory, but it kind of takes away from the overall message. So it could be that
Well-
you're on a date with.
Oh, go ahead, Ari. Go ahead, Ari. I'm sorry.
I like that idea in theory, but on paper, I mean, in practice, that's very difficult and noticeable, and I don't think it would work. I think we have to have something there, a face there, a name there, something that will mislead the audience into thinking, oh, it's going to be these two, but it's not. But she needs something. She needs a goal, a solid thing, so that us as the audience can also see it.
Okay.
It might not matter at the end, and it probably won't. But we have to have something to focus on first, that dynamic, and then we start to see, as the plot progresses, that her affections or her goals change, and she no longer wants to win, maybe, or is focused on this other competitor instead.
Yes.
Well, one
go ahead,
one
Nick.
idea I had, and like obviously we would. I'm not sure how. I don't know. So have it be where she is trying to compete to go on this date or whatever with the celebrity who is female, and have it be where I don't think it should be like a, oh my God, what is she doing? Like one of those kind of ridiculousness things. But I do think maybe having an element like that involved, and then,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it's just like an idea just to throw out. Like that is towing some very, like thin ice that you can, a misstep could make the message go way off base very easily. So I'm not sure we want to go that direction, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. There is one thing we have to keep in mind about all of this. The roulette is absolute, and the roulette did say damsel, outcast, and shadow. We could have it that our damsel, which is our lead character, is competing. The outcast is her, who's her natural rival, ends up, of course, being her love interest in the end. And the person they're competing for is the shadow. So it could be that we have a few details that are said, but we don't know who they are. They're it's more or less, it is a big time celebrity. We can say that it is a male. We can say that this person was in this movie, that almost like a series of clues that are set up. And our main character thinks, oh my gosh, that's got to be, face. Let's just go with Aragorn. It's got to be Aragorn. I'm sure it's Aragorn. It has to be. They wouldn't do this if it wasn't him. But we never actually see Aragorn's face. We just see the shadow. And occasionally, in this big competition, there'll be a screen will pop up where this shadow will speak in at the reverberated voice and say, "Hello, how are you, my dears?" And they'll all turn and be all happy and everything. And then he'll say something, just another thing to keep them going, but they won't know. And the idea is, she believes that it's part of the idea is that she wants this shadow to fulfill all of her dreams and wishes and everything else. So of course she's projecting that it's going to be this exact specific person. She has no idea if it is that person, and that's like Nate just said. They're saying, "Whoa, slow down, some. You don't know who this actually is." And she's like, "No, I can feel it. It's destiny. I'm destined to be with this person." Again, going to the tropes of the usual rom-coms where people.
What if? I mean, all right. Like, I get that, and I think an element of that would be good, but to have it be the only reason why, for someone to just win a date, it seems so shallow. I think probably there needs to be some sort of money incentive, like even if you win a date, you also win blah blah blah, this amount of money.
Yeah.
That she can use for her own interests, like taking care of someone or being able to secure her own future, even if it doesn't work out. Because if it's just a shadow and you don't know who it is, like who would trust that really?
Mhm.
Well,
I
it
wouldn't.
is a celebrity though too. It's not a nobody. It is a celebrity.
Right,
And
but what if you don't know who they are? What kind of celebrity? Like it might be Elon Musk. Who the fuck wants to date Elon Musk? I know Grimes, but listen, she's
Well,
made a
right.
bad decision.
Well,
Right.
all right, you make a really good point. Because, and I think with the with that, I think I don't think it necessarily should be a date. I think it maybe should be something more like you get to spend an evening with, whatever, or you get to go to Disney World with such and such for a day, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
how they have those things where it's like you win 10 grand and you get to spend the day with Cardi B or whatever.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's more or less semantics. It is a tour de force with this person. And yeah, that works fine at the 10 grand. But you said who would compete for that kind of stuff? Have you been around in the past millennia? People will compete for a literal date with a complete stranger with absolutely no. People do mail order brides or husbands or that kind of stuff. I don't know what they look like, and so
I
that
know
stuff happens. Yeah,
it
that
just
stuff
makes me sad inside, and I'd prefer to think that nobody
Fair.
would.
And
Although
that's
that is
fair.
an interesting
That's
an interesting arc. I would think I
I
would
was
be
just about to
into
say.
that. Yeah, if this main character is so wrapped up and sort of like wrapped up in herself and her dreams and what she thinks is
yes.
like this idealized version, and she's sort of naive and doesn't
Right.
really know how the world works, and then her arc is discovering it's not important, it's stupid, and she finds love in this other person.
Yes, I
um,
completely agree.
I would be into that kind of arc.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, that's
Okay,
the arc.
all right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Wait, so we are on the same page and the same sentence, but we're in a different language. That was all. That's why I took a little while for us
Yes,
to get there.
this is why communication is important.
Communication is important. So we'll have it that our lead character, who is the damsel, she's competing in this tournament / reality show, whatever I'm gonna call it, to win a date or win an evening with our shadowy celebrity with cash prizes and contraceptive, free sex, whatever. All these things that'll come along with this evening.
Creepy.
And our outcast character. Sorry, what'd you say?
I'm sorry, just win some sex. That's okay.
That sounds like a basis for a porn. Is that the kind of outcome we're doing?
Is that the genre? Is that our genre? Please tell me that's our genre. Oh, sorry, genre.
Oh God. Okay, let's left turn out of this alley. Okay.
And into traffic. The idea is that we have our damsel competing against all these other people, and again, they don't even have to just be all other women. It could be if our shadow character is bisexual or whatnot, it's perfectly fine for that person to want any and all genders. Which also leaves us with the option that our outcast character can be any gender either, any gender or trans or whatever. It doesn't make a difference.
Okay, so all right, okay. What about this? Our main character thinks that the shadow is a guy and is like, looking for a husbando, or something like that. Very naive, doesn't know much about herself. And then the outcast character is a woman or maybe trans woman, something different, and which will help her see things about herself that she, didn't know before. And then, yeah, that's what I had. Listen, it's a Monday. It's Labor Day.
I like
no,
that idea.
The thing is, we completely agree with you. The thing which you have to understand is Nate and I were already agreeing with you. You are convincing yourself. Yeah.
We were just watching you like, oh, good idea. And then you turn right out of it. They're like, well, no, wait, turn back around. Come
back to us. Oh, we miss you, Ari. We like your hair. It's wavy. Okay, so we can have it that it might be fun for the sake of it. It might actually be fun for the outcast to be trans, because let's face it, this day and age, they would be pretty much in most areas already trans. The trans community is the most shunned. in lots of ways.
Mhm.
And also, if you were a damsel, if we're going with our main or our lead character being someone who needs to have them grow the most with her arc, it'd be best for us to set her at the at zero in some level. Have her be the most not annoyingly vapid, but somewhat shallow kind of a person who who is naive and who sees things so clear cut black and white. It needs
Right.
to understand, needs to see things differently. So it makes for the best, and also oftentimes the best rom coms have the greatest dynamic between the two characters, as much of a yin and a yang as you can get. So if we have it where it's like a stereotypical Reese Witherspoon early career type of damsel, and the trans is like a Spike Spiegel-esque anime character that we don't know exactly. We believe it's either a man that's becoming a woman or a woman's becoming a man or something. We don't know it definitively. That could work. Something like that.
I just had a thought. Now forgive me, because again I had to do some tinkering in my tech corner.
You
But
dirty bastard.
yeah, well, we all have our needs. But the thing that the idea I had now, like I said, forgive me if you have already discussed this, but I like the idea of her going after this and we were saying that the celebrity was the shadow. Was that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So have her go down the path of going after the shadow, like yes, this is what I want. Bam, bam, bam. Out meets the outcast along the way, and then at the very end, and I realize I'm skipping to the end here, but the end of the arc is her meeting the shadow being like into her and being like, oh, and so like the thing at
Of
the
course.
beginning. Now, did you guys already discuss this?
No, I was already thinking this because rom-coms
Yeah.
have a formula, but yeah.
Yeah, and then her being like, "Oh, that the dream that I had at the beginning is actually coming true, but the outcast, I kind of want to go with them." And
Yes.
Yeah.
and
100%.
that's where they go. I think that would be an interesting way to take it, and also
No,
subvert
yes.
a fuck ton of tropes.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that.
so-
I like that a lot.
The only because I was 4 steps ahead. That's what I thought was going to happen. And we had to A, show who the shadow was. B, we had to make her choose the outcast over Aragorn. By the way, his name's Aragorn. We're calling him Aragorn.
Oh, we're going with
We had to
Aragorn.
make her choose Aragorn. Make her choose the outcast over Aragorn. What I wasn't certain about though was if she in fact does win the competition and then she still chooses to be with the outcast, or if during the competition she loses, and then she meets up with the shadow. She finds out who the shadow is, and he meets her somewhere or wants to be with her or whatnot, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't care. You mean nothing to me." Because
Ooh.
oftentimes it happens. There's in stories you have to have the low point. She could have her low point where she essentially wins the competition, and she's with the shadow on the date in Disney World or what have you. And while she's there, she's just like, "This isn't what I wanted." And you can see that. So what would ordinarily be the high point for a story, she's not feeling it, and she pretty much runs out of Disney World into a department store where the outcast is working, and runs up and kisses them or something. So it depends on how you guys are going to play it. That's what I'm saying.
I had a thought.
Yes.
I think it would be interesting. Now, and this could be me just getting nitty gritty in the details too much, but I like the idea of them being in this competition, and I don't know, maybe it can be like that American Ninja Master Samurai Warrior show,
Yeah.
whatever. It could be like that. I don't know. Like that's just a vision I have in my head. And she's met this outcast. They've had to spend time together due to the competition. She's discovered feelings for this person. This person obviously has discovered feelings for them. But there's a distinct difference, I think. I think the difference is she's in it to win it. Forgive me, please. But she's in it to actually win the competition.
Not happening. Yeah.
Where the outcast isn't. Like the outcast is like, I just thought this would be fun. I really don't care who this person is, and
Right.
I don't even know if I'm gonna go to Disney World because I don't like Disney and their love of China, and
Right.
and like kind of like
China.
and I and then it comes to a certain point where the outcast and the main character are like they're really starting to have feelings for each other, and they're at a really intense point in the competition where and they're actually up against each other, and the outcast at the last second loses on purpose
Mhm.
because the
yeah,
outcast knows
Ooh.
they don't give a
Yeah.
shit. They're just in it for the shits and giggles.
yeah.
And they know how important this is for the main character. And maybe it's a thing where they have a
Yes.
fight just beforehand or something like that.
Yes.
And the main character's like, hey, like this is what I want. And the outcast is like, all right, fine. And then they like that's the break point. And then the next time they meet is at the end when they get all
Right.
smoochy.
Well,
Yeah.
it has to be, the idea is they have to draw out all of it is for each of them. So, for example, we have to have it where the damsel is confronting the outcast, and it's like, what do you want? What is it? Is nothing important to you? Do you not care? Do you not give a shit about anything in life? Don't you have any dreams or goals, ambitions, anything at all? And of course, the outcast, the subtext is the outcast is looking at her like, I care about you, I want you. But of course, they don't answer that. They just kind of like, I've yet to find it, kind of thing. And that's kind of his. Let's call him his for now. His
Okay.
catchphrase. He when he first meets up with her, he's pretty much like, haven't found it yet. That's the idea of have you found what you're looking for? Do you know what you want? Haven't found it yet, so to speak. And so he looks at her for a long time, dead in the eyes, and then he says, I haven't found it yet. And then during the last competition, where the last two ones left, he does have the chance to win. Clear, and we see that he has a chance to win. Like, she may be on the floor trying to get up to do something, and we definitively see him throw the towel, basically, kind of throw the match. She doesn't
Right.
see that, and she just goes and she wins,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, well done, and kind of walks away, something like that. So she never even knows that he did that. But I like the idea that you had, Nate, that it has to be where they do confront each other at the very end, or something to bring up the issues they have.
I actually think she sees it. I want her to see it. I think
Yeah.
that's important. I want her to see that the person threw it on purpose, because I think that's going to drive the damsel to realize, oh, they really do care about me.
That's
like
true.
this,
That's true.
Right.
like I want that to like I think like I personally think that's like, if they don't see it, like if the damsel doesn't see it, then it's almost like or maybe it's a thing where it's revealed later. Like maybe there's a
Yeah.
fight that happens later, like, oh my God, and then in the fight, like, didn't you see, like I threw it on purpose, didn't you see that? And the damsel like maybe
Right.
we could use it in that way, we could do that,
Right.
but
I mean,
I think the damsel
it
needs
could
to
work
know.
either way. It could work where, because think about it, she would be so. The idea is she'd be so singularly minded on winning, she wouldn't. If she saw him falter or not care and still rush through it, it may make her seem a little villainize her in some way, make her seem too obsessed. But we can still make it work. That's fine. However, if we did reveal later on, like if she was in Disney World with the Shadow, with Aragorn, and she kind of wasn't feeling it, and then she saw a replay of the footage, and she saw him kind of just like not give his all, she could look at it and she could tell. It wasn't a big huge thing, but it was a little thing, and she knows that him well enough. She goes, oh my gosh, I get it. And we could kind of save it as a reveal later on that she could confront him at the department store wherever he's working and say, you did it on purpose, didn't you? You threw it. I knew you did. And he's like he denies it to her, basically, because he always denies everything. And she kind of calls him out, and that's so yeah, we can definitely have it that way. That's the way I'm seeing it, is if she doesn't see it in the moment, and yes, she does find out later on it's revealed, we could use it for a dramatic effect later on.
Well,
Mhm.
I had another thought, and then I'll shut up. I know I've been talking a lot, so I'll shut up. But the other thought I had with this is, when maybe right before the Disney World trip or whatever, it's, this is a competition, in this day and age, it's probably a reality show. These things, they're taped months in advance. So maybe it's a thing where the night before or the day of, or maybe, whatever, the episode where that person lost is on and she's watching it. And now, since it's massive coverage, you see every angle, you see what happened. And then even in the interview, because how they always do the sit down interviews, in the interview, they're like, the person says, yeah, I threw it. And I just wasn't into it anymore,
Oh,
but
that's interesting.
but you could see like there's like and maybe they say something, they drop something, a phrase or something that was a secret between them two, between the two, and she sees it and she goes, oh, and she's like,
Right. But
holy
yes,
shit,
yeah, I think though if he admits that he threw it, if he does, he throws it, and then he admits that he throws it, it trivializes her discovery because she didn't discover it. And the reason the discovery matters is because it shows a connection between the two of them. Also, it's if he trivializes her, if he goes on there and says, "Yeah, I threw it," it's trivializing the victory that she had.
Well, maybe it could be
he's
like
throwing her under the bus.
Well, no,
Here's the
maybe,
thing.
oh, good.
You go first.
Well, I was just going to say, like, maybe like it doesn't admit it. Maybe he's just say, people say I threw it. I didn't throw it. I was doing, and then says a phrase, or whatever. It's
right.
But
Okay. Yeah. That. Yeah. I like that angle more. Is if it's like, how could you lose it? How could you do something like this? Or you slip right here? Or yeah, they do question him. It may seem like he did falter, like it deliberately or whatnot. He doesn't admit that he did throw it or whatnot, but then he uses a catchphrase or he uses something. A signal only she would know, basically, or something a tell only she would catch, so to speak.
So here's so I've been thinking as you guys have discussed this that if he throws it to allow her to win, I feel like she'd be angry about that.
That's what I was thinking too. She wouldn't take it's.
She would. Yeah. She would. It's not fair because she wants to win it by her own skill, and I feel like she would probably be angry with him for doing that for her, even if it's for her, and that's part of the reason why she kind of like doesn't acknowledge him necessarily until after the competition. But then she goes on the thing and it's kind of underwhelming and blah 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 blah, and he fully admits that he threw it in the interview, and she doesn't realize why he did until then. And she doesn't like really process her feelings about it until then. And he's willing to let her go and feel like shit.
I see what you're saying. I agree that because I want to piggyback what you said about the anger. I want her to be angry. I want it to be that she figures, she watches a video herself. She sees that he threw it or whatnot, or is being questioned about it, and she's like, "Motherfucker, you threw it! I knew it!" Or she gets angry. She doesn't say, "I knew it," but you threw it. She storms in wherever he works, and she storms in to argue with him. Like, why would you do that? Why would you throw that kind of thing? And it's the first time he actually admits something, and he also and he's like, "Why would you do that? Why?" And he admits the whole thing as far as like, because I finally found something that I cared about, and he looks at her kind of thing, and that's when she realizes what's going on. And also, she at this point too. She already feels the same way. They both have already felt it. And so it's, they kiss or what have you. So I think that if we have it where he admits openly on TV or for the interview, what have you, yeah, I threw it casually, as opposed to her discovering it and her getting angry and having it be more personal moment, it takes away some from it.
Actually, yeah, because if he did throw it and she got mad at him, and I don't think he would so readily admit it on TV, because that would be just rubbing her face in it even more.
Yes, that'd be a dick.
Well, and one thing I wanted to say too, that I think something we could do to pull it back and have it not be as emotionally charged is have it be an earlier point in the competition. I don't think it should be the final match, because if it's the final match, that's almost too much involved. But I think maybe it should be like a semifinal, or maybe even like it's a team thing. And
why don't you want it emotionally charged?
Well, because I don't think, because something you said earlier, which I think kind of torpedoes a little bit of tropes we're trying to subvert, and that's by having them throw it on purpose and have it be the final. It almost undermines her abilities, and I don't think we want to do that. I think we want to have it be further back in the competition, like earlier in the competition, where the stakes are still high. Like it's still like, maybe there's like it's a tiered thing where like third place gets $10,000 and they're competing for third place, or they're competing to, and whoever loses isn't going to get a chance to get on third place. The person will move on to be in the top 3. And that's when they throw it, because then you still have 1 or 2 more steps where the damsel gets to prove her worth and prove that she has the abilities. But there still was an emotionally charged point where the outcast could throw it and still not undermine her abilities.
Yeah, I like that.
That can work. The only reason I push back against that is because we're still seeing her the whole time. We're seeing her in all these levels. So it could be literally a situation where the 2 of them haven't squared off. They're in 2 entirely different brackets from the start. And so we see their competition as they whittle down to get to each other. And it turns out that the final ones are each other. They didn't know it would be that way, but it comes down to the final ones. So she's already proven herself by getting rid of everyone else in her entire bracket on the other side. And he's on the same thing, because it pretty much, it shows that they're equals also. It shows that through different means, he is the best of the best from his world, and she's the best of the best from her world. And when it comes down to actual competition between the 2 of them, with the best of the best,
I don't think, but see, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think that matters. Like, I don't think this isn't like,
yeah, it's I see where you guys are coming from. We can go the route of having it earlier, but I don't think it works as well. But we can do that. That's fine.
I guess it's just, I just feel that, like, I think it also fits a little bit in with the trope where there's always like one of the cliches in rom-coms is you always have the tug between the 2, like usually in this situation it's a woman trying to decide between 2 men, and there's the obvious who society thinks she should pick, and then there's the kind of roguish yet not really the one that she should go with, and that's the one who she always ends up with because he's more ruggedly handsome. And
Typically,
and then typically what happens is that there hits a point, usually right before the climax, where there's a falling out between the lead and the roguish one, and he typically falls off the map until, like, it not always, but in one version of the rom-com trope, disappears and goes off to chop wood in the middle of the snow without a shirt on, while she goes through her climax and her crisis of self, and then at the end she decides, no, I really want to go and watch him chop wood without a shirt on.
right.
And I think that would fit within, like, that's the kind of story this could be, because then it would drop the outcast out earlier, and it would give a little bit of time for the audience to be like, what the, he obviously threw that. Why are you still trying to go with this stupid, ridiculous idea that you think you're going to meet the shadow and fall in love with him? And
exactly. And that's the problem. I don't want to piss off the audience, because the thing is, once there's what they call a dead space. If we have it where if the audience already knows these 2 are going to end up together, and we put it where, he falls out of the competition so much earlier, and then she's still competing against other opponents for a while, and then she finally gets to the guy, and then she realizes what's going to happen. It's like the audience is like, yeah, you should have skipped out all the other stuff. We already know what's going to happen. What are you doing? Why is it taking so long? Get to the chase already.
And here is where Ethan proves he's not a fan of rom-coms. That's the point. Like, that's the point. Like, that's actually what a lot of people expect from rom-coms. And I'm not saying that it should be like an elongated thing. Like, I think it should be like a 10-minute of the movie schmear, where it's like you've got the thing of they're okay, they've been separated, and oh my god, she's making the wrong choice, and then there's the couple bits of competition, and there's kind of like what happens typically in those spots is there's a whole like, okay, is she going to make the right decision? Is she going to go the right way? Is like, what are you going to do? And I think it would be interesting even in this, because because we're subverting that trope. So everybody is going to expect, like, oh yeah, but wait, they're doing some weird stuff here. Maybe she will go with the shadow. Maybe she will do this competition. And maybe it's a thing where she doesn't even win. Maybe she meets the shadow at the final competition. It's the final thing, and she gets to meet the shadow because that's typically what they do. You get to meet the person you might spend a day with if you win, and then in that interaction, that's the interaction where she goes nuts to this, and goes off. Like that's just
so if we did that, that's what we could do then. I could be in favor of her walking away, her getting to literally the final branch of the competition, her maybe even winning it, and her walking away from it, and her deciding on her own, I don't care about this. That could work if the outcast throws a fight, throws the match earlier, say like the third tier or whatnot. And she could be upset. She could be fuming. She'd be like, how could I beat him? How could he be gone? How could he have made that stupid mistake? What's wrong with him? He's an idiot. And she could be fuming and be angry. And even while she's competing in the subsequent matches, she's still fussing about him. And then by the time she gets to the final thing where it's like, now here's time for either the winner's circle or here's our final match. And she's like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm too angry to fight or something like that. And she just walks away. Or she literally walks up to the next person, and then one blow knocks him down, and just keeps walking. Doesn't stay on the stage at all, basically. So that could work. To the point where she's so upset about him because she may on some level think that he either threw it or shouldn't have lost that easily, and it really, really upsets her. And she just decides before they even present her with, and the shadow could be sitting right there. The shadow himself could be like, "Congratulations, you won me. I'm Aragorn. I fought, things with Gimli." And she just walks right by him the whole time. She doesn't even acknowledge him, essentially. We could do something like that. Because that's also being subversive, too, where she does have the opportunity to see it, have what she wants, and doesn't even care. She's too angry to acknowledge it, too.
I think that could work if we play it in. Because I think at least part of the motivation for her walking away needs to be for being angry at the outcast for doing whatever they did. And then, but also a little bit of a drive of that is that they care so much about the outcast, and the fact that they did that angers them so much. That's why she walks off. And then I think you would have to immediately cut to the confrontation with the outcast, and just being like, why did you do this? And then in that conversation, the revelation happens of I did this because I love you,
Yeah.
Yes. He figured it out 2 matches essentially before her.
Yeah.
And she figures it out, and she is blinded by her anger. She doesn't understand what's going on. And what she's thinking, and it is slightly ambiguous because we have it this way, there's no interview, no post-game wrap-up. She just is like, wait a minute, he faltered? What happened? How could he falter? This doesn't make any sense. And in her mind, she's wondering, did he actually make a mistake, or did he throw it, or what's going on? Or I'm just unsatisfied with this match. I wanted to be much bigger and more epic, and I wanted to take more. And because before the match, we can have a conversation between the two of them where they put all the cards, not all the cards, but they pretty much say all these things as far as like she says to him, you don't care about anything. You're just a delusional asshole prima donna that is only consumed with yourself and everything else. And he's like, well, you're just a spoiled little debutante that just wants money and everything, fame, all kinds of stuff like that. And so when she goes into the match against him, she's furious then. And she's using all of her moves and is still very even-handed. And then at the very last, like I said, last moment or so, he does throw in the towel. Or he throws, I can't say the towel. He throws it, loses it on purpose. It's not obvious. She's not certain, but she wanted more of a match because she's still angry. She's still furious. And that fury carries over to the next few matches. And like you said, she basically barrels into his job or what have you and confronts him. And that's when she finally realizes, steamrolls. I think it's steamroll. Wow, it's Monday and it's Labor Day.
I mean, you can steamroll and barrel roll at the same time.
I prefer Kool-Aid Man. Just Kool-Aid Man.
Just busting the back wall. Oh yeah. Yes. But that, I think that works. I think that's the best story right there. Because it subverts 2 tropes essentially. before like you guys said, it doesn't go to the final round. It goes only to like a few rounds before that. And then when she has the ability to go off of Aragorn and Legolas, she's like, fuck you all, and it keeps walking. So yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We can definitely do that.
I think that works.
Cool. And we're right in time. And the best part is we haven't definitively come up with this competition I think we've all kind of hinted at it pretty strongly. We want it to be somewhat of like like you said, Iron Warrior, Ninja Warrior kind of Iron Man competition where it's a athletics or physicality, things like that to get there. So yeah,
that's kind of.
I think that's
I don't know
fun
why.
if it's a very physical competition that women are going in to get a man's affection. Essentially,
Yeah.
it's very subversive.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we have some ends to tie up next week.
Yeah. Plenty.
But this is a good start.
It's a very, very strong start. Very strong start. The best part is that we've had, I don't know how many episodes we've done now, maybe close to 10 or more. This was probably the most, I don't say heated, but the most engrossed we got into talking about the details of the story. And again, it is about a rom-com and the tropes and that kind of stuff. And again, this is what this whole show was started about, was just for this one thing. So I was not disappointed at all. But I'm just me.
Well, I think part of the reason for that is rom-coms, of all the shows that we've done, rom-coms are some of the most like they're so cookie cutter, and not only are they cookie cutter, but they're cookie cutter that doesn't fit with typical story trope, like story, it just doesn't work. Like they have a lot of their tropes don't even make sense when you start thinking about them in any sort of depth capacity. And and like other, like with science fiction and stuff like that can happen, and with horror that can happen, but with rom-com it's one that it's trying to be real life, but it's not. And I think
it's super not.
It's very very thin. It's the idea from the start too is that because studios believe that a vast majority of people that watch their rom-coms are women, and they also believe that women are so fragile that they'll break if you change any kind of standard or at all in your storytelling. They only try to explore the exact same thing over and over and over again. And anytime you do anything original with your story, like for example, 500 Days of Summer is a rom-com, and it breaks a lot of these tropes. Because essentially it was made from a guy's point of view who had gone through something pretty similar in regard. So it was essentially it wasn't really meant for what is known as a typical kind of rom-com audience, but it's a great movie. It works amazingly well. By the way, women love that movie too. So
I like that movie a lot.
Ari likes the movie too. So I think it's the best kind of stories are ones where you're not so worried about trying to only hit the exact same norm and demographic every time with fear. Just tell a good story.
Tell a good story. That's exactly what I was about to say. Focus on the story.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
That's all that
matters.
Maybe
that whole thing. Maybe that whole thing about like, oh well, this such and such homogenous block of people only like these sorts of things, it doesn't actually work. Maybe
it's not based in reality. It's actually false. In fact, it doesn't. It's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Well. Yes.
And that is our philosophy on everything in life.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, before we go, we of course everything in life. Before we go, my favorite part is the dessert. Ari, if you would please tell us about. So, which character is this?
This is our main character. The debutante, the damsel.
So it's Dam Jr. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme's daughter.
Gotcha. Yes. I don't really. I mean,
Wow.
It's like she was dying in an 8-bit video game.
I was just about to say, we just went 8-bit. We just get Nintendo.
Oh my god!
I really wish I had that coin sound effect. Bling, bling.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Once upon a time. A scroll of magical story elements and a passion to create. Rolling for genre, setting, and character